are back again at beautiful Fountain Mortgage building, top floor. I'm sitting here with Dan Boyer, and we are doing Beer with Boyer and BJ. I am BJ Ersery with Remax Elite, and this is
Dan Boyer, Fountain Mortgage. So, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking, I got the Joko juice, which is out of Lenexa. It's a Limitless Brewing Company. Actually pretty good, and you seem to have gotten tired of heavy on the IPAs, and so I picked you...
An IPA. Well, it's a pale ale.
Yeah.
New England style pale
Yeah,
ale.
and I'm drinking something, as you pointed out, and now I'm having a hard time with it. It looks like chicken broth, but...
I told him his beer looked like chicken broth, but so does mine, so it's definitely a hazy IPA.
I actually like this. I don't know why I'm saying actually. I like all beer for the most part, but...
Well, I'm drinking Sunny Cat. This is the first time I've had Sunny Cat, never had this before. This is not out of Kansas City. So normally we're doing Kansas City local beers, but this one's actually out of St. Louis. This is a New England style pale ale, and it's pretty darn good actually. So,
you like the Sunny Cat? I was hoping.
It makes me think of Smelly Cat.
Well,
Smelly Cat from Friends.
So Dan and I wanted to talk to you. We got to talking one day and realized that it was just between the two of us. You always have clients that are saying, well, I always heard, or I thought that we could, and then you realize sometimes there's these myths that either people are being told by friends, family, or they're reading on the World Wide Web that just aren't true.
So actually what I wanted to talk about is not really a myth as much as it is misinformation. So a lot of people, when I'm talking to them about putting money down on a mortgage, whether it be for down payment or closing costs, they come to me and they say, well, I'm going to go borrow it from my local bank, or I'm going to use my credit card to get a cash advance. And unfortunately, you cannot do that in a mortgage. So any large deposit that goes into your bank account has to be sourced. In other words, we have to basically prove where that money came from. And one of the rules is you can't borrow money to borrow money. You can't borrow money to put down while you're borrowing money, right? So I guess the first myth is that I can go borrow money. Now you can receive a gift, a friend, a relative, I shouldn't say a friend, a family member, relative, close people, right? Yeah. Arm's length type people can loan you or can give you money, cannot loan you money.
Right.
Because we do, there again, we have to source where it comes from and prove where it came from. You can't just take it out from under the mattress and put it in the bank. It's not going to work that way.
So the money that you squirrel away into a shoebox and you cut it underneath the bed, and all of a sudden you pop that thing out over 7-8 years and go, here, I've got $8,000.
They want to know where it came from. And so whether it be taking out a loan or getting money out from under the mattress, we can't use that. So we'll come to another one here in a minute, but what are you hearing? What's some of the myths that you're hearing?
I end up, a lot of times buyers will, well, it's not a good time to buy right now. Well, yes and no. First of all, in my opinion, if you're going to be in the spot that you're in for the next 3, 4, 5 years, it's a good time to buy. But if you're planning on, you're here for a job and you're not leaving or you're thinking you're going to promotion, or you're planning on leaving in the next year and a half, it may not be the best time to buy, but it just depends on your situation. And if you're looking at something for the long haul and you think you're going to be in this area for at least the next, 4 or 5 years, it is a good time to buy a house because, especially right now, and you and I were just talking about it, the fact that you've got, rents are going up almost every year. That's just one thing we're seeing is the fact that if you rent right now, there's a good chance you might be paying $100, $150 more next year.
I heard a statistic that it's harder to find a rental property right now than it is to find a home on the market. So I think they've kind of got the market right now, and so rents are kind of inflated.
And until that changes, they're going to continue to raise rent, sometimes $100 to $150, even more, on your next year's lease. And so at least when you buy a house, your rent ain't going up. Tax-wise, it may be a little bit, you know what I mean.
But the rent's not going to, it's not going to change substantially. The next one I want to talk about, and this is kind of a big one in my industry, is that it's better to go with one of the online big box stores. Quite honestly, in my opinion, you're better off just to go straight to the source. Yeah. Come to us. You're probably going to reduce fees. I guarantee you're going to have a much better process because you're going to have somebody like myself to guide you through, help you be available on evenings, weekends. You're not going to be calling a call center. That's the biggest thing too. They call in and they're getting a different person every single time they call that doesn't know what's going on with their loan. In my opinion, working with some of those is actually one of the worst things you can do. And quite honestly, in today's market, a lot of the listing agents won't even take offers from some of the big box stores, right?
Because they're just pushing them. They're just pushing them through. And go, oh, you're all taken care of. You're fine. You're fine. And then you find out that towards the end of the process, you're not quite fine because they didn't do their due diligence.
So I think the moral of the story is, whether it's with me or somebody else, stick with your local lender that's local and can help you and actually knows the market and has a better gauge of what's going on. So.
And one last thing on that is, like he said, whether it's Dan or somebody else, I encourage you want to go somewhere that you can sit in front of them. You don't want some guy in Boise, Idaho, or out in New Jersey that you can't show up at his office and go, what in the world's going on? You got something going on, you want to talk with Dan, he's right there.
Sunday afternoon or there's a lot more to be said for being available, right? Yep. Availability is important.
Absolutely, which actually is a nice segue into the other myth is, I can't tell you the number of times I've gotten in a car and I've had a buyer go, oh yeah, no, we're all good, we're good. Okay, cool. And you get there and they go, oh yeah, I like this. You know what? I think I want to make an offer, but I guess I better get pre-approved. And you're like, well, I thought we were all good. Well, yeah, I got pre-approved a couple years back, so I know I'm fine. But they wait because they think I don't want to get pre-approved until I find the house I want to make an offer on. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. You and I both, I've called you up and you broke away and took care of a client, but for the most part, you just don't have the opportunity to be able to call somebody quickly. So I strongly encourage any buyer that if you want to make an offer and you're out looking for houses, you need to be pre-approved and have that in your hand and be ready to go. And not even so much pre-approved, but you guys have a full run process.
Will anybody even take an offer on a home right now without a pre-approval?
No.
Yeah, and there's other ways we can go too. We can not only do a pre-approval, we can do a full approval.
That's what
That's a big deal to have a full underwriting approval ahead of time, so that when you make that offer, it's literally like almost having a check in your hand. We can basically, all we got to do is get an appraisal and title information. We can close in about 10 days to 2 weeks versus 30 days or more. So,
if you can squeeze it in real quick, what's the difference between a pre-approval and that?
So a pre-approval, we're just literally looking at your credit, we're looking at your income, and we're looking at your assets. So we're verifying that you have good credit, you make as much as you say you do, and you have the money in the bank to cover the costs. A full underwriting approval, we actually submit all documentation like we were submitting for a full loan on a property. Okay. And underwriting does a full approval. It's much more thorough, and quite honestly, it takes a lot of the legwork. Yeah. We do it up front instead of doing it on the second half of it. And like I said, it actually speeds up the process too, so you could close on a property in less than 2 weeks. So I'd recommend Sunny Cat or Smelly Cat or whatever the hell it is. How about, you like Joko juice?
I do like Joko juice.
They're
They're at 97, I think, on Widmer. I gotta go check these folks out.
Well, cheers to them.
Another beer with Boyer and BJ.
Cheers to you guys. Thanks.
See ya.